Good afternoon to YouTube. Well, this will be a quick video-ish. I already started the job, and then I stopped midway, partial way, and figured, hey, maybe this isn't the worst thing to film. Factory rewiring in a Sprinter. So, I don't know if you can see this or not. I've already got everything removed from back here. I kind of probably should have filmed that. So, the light, I ended up breaking a little clip on the light here. So what I recommend doing, I'll kind of reverse myself for a bit here. Mine's extra because I've got a dash camera thing here, but put a little bit of tape and label it. It should be pretty obvious where things go. I broke this, or no, the rear lock is good. I broke the rear light. When taking the light out, passenger light, I snapped this clip. So to take the light out, you need a T20 bit, I believe. Sorry for basically just being Shadow Man here, because it's just the way it is. This is the driver's light. You got two screws. Sorry. One there, and then you've got these little tabs, top and bottom. There's nothing in the middle. Now you got to be careful when you're pulling this out. Your clip is here. So the clip that I broke was here. I went to pull this way, and the clip got caught on this metal and snapped it. It didn't snap any wires or anything, but just be mindful. Maybe try to get your wiring before you start pulling it. Make sure you're clear of that. And then this does pop. I did have the driver's side light. I grabbed a little trim removal thing, just a little angle. It pops really easily, but be safe and don't do what I did. This is why I'm making a video, because apparently whatever I do, you can learn from, because it's generally wrong. It's great. So yeah, your lights, I got this one labeled here. This is, I don't know, cigarette lighter. So this one was on the door here. I had a heck of a time figuring out how to get even in here. So seems a lot of people don't have this. I'm still wanting to remove this itself so I can build some trim around here. And I think there's a couple tabs, but you can't get your hand back there. It's so awkward. So this clip, where did it go? This one, there's a tab. You can reach around, and there's a little tab at the top, just to give you an idea on what it looks like in there. And this slides in, so you're able to snap that some way, shape, or form. So be aware of that. And then just pull everything up. This one clips here. It should be pretty obvious where everything goes. Like each clip has the same color wires, so you don't need to go crazy on labeling. I've been taking my time and trying to not snap these. So some of them you can get your hands in there, and you can kind of push on one tab, if you can see it. This one's a little janky, but I can widen it. So you push on the one side, it does start to pop out, and then you can get your trim removal tool and pop it back the other way. So these will go right back in the holes. I'll show you when I'm doing that. But I've got it all the way down to this. Also, unplug your battery. Don't do this with the power on, just in case you trigger something and something happens for something else. So yeah, just get your hand in there, pop one little side. See if I can do this with the camera. Let me get my trim tool. So one side's popped. There. And let's see if I salvaged it. Oops, this one. Yeah, nothing broke. So you can just widen that, push that. Bam. These ones are a little tricky up in here. So all I'm going to do is get this to this one. I'm going to leave this connected here, And I've got some trim lock here. I'm going to cover it, and I'm just going to run the wires back. And then I'm going to take these clips and I'm going to put them in the back way. So they'll still be connected there. These ones won't be. They're going to run up from underneath. But anything with these tabs, I'm going to secure the wiring harness right back in there. Aside from that, and then the issue is going to be this B pillar. So I didn't fully, this is one reason why I didn't fully secure my thin slit at this point, was I knew I was going to have to drill a hole. I think I can drill between 1 inch and 1.5 inches. I'm going to try to go as small as possible and then work the wires through. This little needle nose pliers came in handy for, there's up in this section, there's clips here, so you can get in and kind of squeeze and then push down a bit and then pop them out that way. It's worked quite well. The hammer, yeah, I just did some hammering. So if you can see, this wiring harness is going to go this way. I just took a hammer and rounded that off, just bent it back so the wire isn't hitting any kind of sharper metal. I did buy some trim lock. I've had this in the garage probably for 2 or 3 months now, for the anticipation of doing this repair or modification. So I'm going to put that over that edge of metal. Since I took my hammer to it, I took some paint off. Spray paint. Maybe if you don't use a hammer, you could use some pliers or something, and then you would have the same effect and not need to paint. But I took some frustration out on it. So I've got 1 1/8 inches. And I believe I can get, because you just got to like do a bit at a time, right? A little bit through. So I should be able to, this was the largest one. These are the back lights. So this is the, for your tail lights. And this should be able to bend. I should be able to wiggle that through. That's what I'm figuring. And then I did have, I got a case of grommets that I had bought. So I'm not even sure what size these are, but it's close enough. So as far as hole location, you can see, I'm trying to get, so I kind of scuffed up the paint there with my hole dozer metal bit there. So if you look at where that is, there's a groove in the metal. If you put your finger in there, there's a little groove. I'm trying to stick in there. The drill wants to just keep sliding towards the exterior of the van, so be mindful of that. So I'm trying to keep similar area, so it's almost, the hole would be up around here. So the factory wiring will still keep on the same. I'm not like dipping in and down. I'm going to try up there, as you can see. So you can get a drill in here. You will have problems. I'm not able to do it because I don't have the right attachments for my drill bit, but I can't get my drill in here to then drill here. So I'm going to have to use the drill and go all the way through from this side. There's 2 layers that you're going to have to get through. It's doable, but just something to be aware of. As well, set up tape traps in the cavity because you're going to get a bunch of metal bits. So be aware of that. Get in there and see it, just to catch as much as you can. You're going to want to deburr it. I'll show you. I have a tool for that, and then you're going to need to paint it after as well. Here goes nothing. Oh baby, I did it. Bye-bye metal bit. Now, probably hot. Ooh. Okay, can I get through? Before I get too excited. Yeah, that's great. I think. Yeah. Let's just keep going. We're already there. Hell yeah. Where did that piece go? Uh-oh. Is it in the drill bit? I don't know where that piece went. There it is. It's down there now. Frig. That can't be good. Okay, after getting a metal shaving in my eye, I found the little piece. So, no worries. It fell down in here. So I presume most of us have this foam thing in here, and there's a bunch of metal bits in there. So another place that you're going to want to vacuum. I'm going to clean this foam off and ram her back home. But there we go. Luckily, with that size hole, these pieces are at the very end of your wiring harness, so they go in first. So you don't have to worry about like trying to work these past a shitload of wire. So I'm going to maybe do a little test bit, make sure this goes through, and then going on to painting and deburring. This is the deburring tool I have. I got it on Amazon. It might have been like 15-20 bucks. This has been so handy, honestly. When you're starting if you're starting a van build, just buy this immediately. And if you're doing rib nuts, just buy a nice rib nut tool. Look at all this. See, this is why we set up a metal trap. That's a ton of metal that would have otherwise gone down into the body. So that equals rust eventually. So we don't care for that stuff. So the holes now have 2 coats of paint. That's drying. I've got trim lock up in here, and whether you do this or not, where did it go? There we go. So I had a grommet and I cut the center out, and you got to put the one on first before you go into this hole. So that'll get me into this area. So that's on. It easily fits over all the rest of the wiring harness. So now I'm going to basically get it started while I'm waiting for paint to dry. I'm going to rerun the wiring harness, get it all the way through into here, and then drop it back down and rest it on the floor. And I'll probably start punching in. So this is what my plan was, is I just reverse it, and these go in that way through these existing holes. That's the thought. Got it started. I'm stopping here. There's no point in pulling it all the way through and then I'm going to do more and go up. So this is a little easier if you kind of keep it propped up here. This is enough for me to get these 2 big ones in. This one here. The one that's probably going to be the most awkward. Where did it go? Yeah, this is for the camera and your lights and all that stuff. There is one more large... Maybe it's up in here somewhere. It'll be your, I believe, your driver's side, because basically you got to run your passenger side through first, because that's the longest run, and then your driver's side lights, that will be kind of the most awkward fitting, which I don't know. Is it this one? Rear door lock. Yeah, this one. So this is the driver's side lights. So you've got all the rest of this wiring harness in before it. So working through that hole, this will be the most challenging one. But if you keep the wiring harness below, you can work it through. And then what the goal is when you're in here, you can have one hand on this side and just sort of try to feed it in. Don't try to push it through this way. You can use both hands. I obviously can't do that with a camera right now. And then guide the whole thing through, and then just keep working your way that way. It's tedious. It's not hard, but it's extremely tedious. I was so confident. Just the most confident. Anyway, so I got this through. These went through really well, actually. Definitely 1 1/8 is the smallest you can go. Do not go, I repeat, do not go any smaller than 1 1/8 inches. 1 1/4 would give you a lot of room. So what ended up happening, I started running my dash camera one because it's the longest. Well, by golly, this is solid right there. Isn't that something? And it turns out It's solid right there too. You gotta drill 4 holes. Now that was even more awkward because I couldn't get any drill up in here. I was able to get my impact driver and use the drill here. Now, I'm lucky because I have a bunch of tools. Here's what I had to do. Where's my impact? Okay. So I got out my 1 1/8" Milwaukee bit again. And I was able to go to my, just a second, let me get down here. Go down to my socket set and pull out. So the issue with, there we go, the Milwaukee hole dozer bits, this is not like your 1/4" impact. It's a 3/8 or whatever the heck it is. So it doesn't fit in your impact. So I had to go to my socket set and get, well, an 11/32. So this fits into the impact and this fits perfectly into this. Then I can get it to the impact, which was shorter, and was able to get through that hole. The first one, it was easy enough. It was a little awkward, but was able to do it. The second one, that's way up there. Okay, so I was able to get my drill, keep this same thing, and use, I got a 6-inch extension. Now what I had to do, it's just comical at this point. I'm not even mad anymore. So I had to get the bit, let's see if I can hold this and film. Hold on, this is in my armpit now. So I had to get this bit up and through here, then attach my 6-inch extension, then attach the drill and drill all the way through. Just a second, let me get this in, just so you can see. Terrible camera angle there. That. Now, what also is happening, so let's see, there's lots of room in this bay for your drill. I had to bend this tab back. It's really easy to do, it's just thin metal. So I could get my drill in there. Now, the issue is this always wants to slide towards the exterior of the van. So I ended up grabbing, we'll let that dangle there. I grabbed a, where did I put it? I had a flat bar somewhere. Actually, it fell. So the flat bar fell down here. So when I was drilling, I put this part of the flat bar in against the hole dozer part and bent it forward so the hole would come further into the van and not be, because it's just at a weird angle. So while you're drilling, you're twisting it, bending it this way to hold your hole or your bit to drill that. And this one I just went a little lower. It's a little lower than the other one, but that's what happened there. But it's in. I'm gonna widen the holes a bit. I'm gonna deburr them. I'm gonna paint them. And we're gonna carry on. Okay, progress so far. I got passed through the hard part. The wiring is through there. I got 1 grommet in, and let me tell you, 1 1/8" is, don't go any smaller. Especially if you're not gonna remove all the plastic parts and pins and redo all that. That's just excessive. So it's in, and I'll get my grommet on there. And then one thing I forgot to do before, put trim lock on all of these edges. And then when you're ripping your, or I shouldn't say ripping, but when dragging your wire, it'll all be nice and protected and not hitting on metal. You got rubber. So I just put a bit more paint and wait for that to dry. And so far so good. Everything's gonna line up. So the wiring is mostly through. We've got, I'm gonna put a grommet there, a grommet up in there, but we're all through. Got a clip in. This, I'm gonna widen. Actually, one thing that I had to do, and I forgot, but, or didn't forget, but thought I could do it. I widened this hole. This was a square clip. I've got this to about a 3/4 inch hole. Turns out, if you're rerunning the factory lights and you're using those, these cannot, they can't go around and get back into their locations. So I'm gonna run it right through here, back through here, and then everything will line back up and go to the light. Same thing with this one. I'm gonna drill a 3/4 inch to an inch hole. The best thing to use is a step bit. I have one of those. Put your little tape trap in and make sure, because your wiring harness is in here, make sure it's nice and low, but you know, it's pretty safe. And then here, I need to put some trim lock. But all in all, then I'm not going in and doing all this rewiring. It's going right back on to this, right down here. And then one thing I thought might be helpful, I needed to remove this just because I couldn't get the wires back in. So you pretty much have to remove the plastic piece in order to get the rubber back on. You can't just stick the rubber on. So how that is, there's 2 or 4 clips on the inside, and you can easily get your hand up and in to that location. And same with this side. So you can get your hand in, squeeze, you know, just push in the 2 bottom clips, it pops right out. Then get it back into, put this one because I haven't put it in. You see, that's the inner ring. You've got to get that in. And that's pretty easy to do. So once you get that set in there, back in they go. One thing to also know, this clip, that was awkward. That might be the hardest clip of all. I don't know if that's the digital rear view mirror. That might be. Whatever that is. It comes out really easily, but it's just, you almost don't know what's in there, and it's really awkward. So just be mindful of that. The rest of them are fairly obvious where they go. That's the gist of it. It's done. So, okay, you can't see. That's a problem. There we go. See, I got all the clips in. All this is in. I rerouted this. Grommets in any new hole. This one went in. Actually, that one's not. That piece is not sticking in, but I'll deal with that after. All the way through. It would have been nice if I had drilled this hole a little further up, but that's fine. Grommet. There's a grommet in there, but I've got the insulation all stuffed in. Clip. There we go. This was our double. It's got grommets. And I put a grommet here, ran the wires all the way back in and through, over to the light. And this is how I left it. Bent this back, trim lock as I showed you before. And that's about it. I wish I did this months ago. I was fearing to do it because it's electrical and I don't know much about electrical and automobiles. So I was concerned. This is an easy job. Like, this is, yeah. So I don't know, maybe practice drilling a couple holes, doing riv nuts or something in your van first, and then you can get the confidence to start drilling wider holes like that and having the right bit. But yeah, if you do 1 1/4 inch, I did 1 1/8 inch. It was totally fine, but 1 1/4 inch makes it a little easier for you. And just do it. This is, I debated whether it was smart to have the insulation in. I had this duct liner in, whether it's better to do it before the duct liner's in or after. I kind of think after, and the reason being is if you go to insulate it and that wire is already run, now you're trying to tuck in your insulation to that with the wire in the way. So if you're doing this double insulation thing, like a duct liner and thinsul it, do your duct liner first, then run the wire. And then my thinsul is just stuffed in there. It's not glued because I was anticipating this wire rerouting. So overall, very happy that I did this. Everything's back in. All right, everything's started up. No issues. Lights aren't on right now, but can't hit the brakes. It's still bright outside, so there we go. The camera, the backup camera worked. The digital thing works. If that's visible. That all worked. Digital display worked. Dash camera went back on. I think we did it, folks. I think we did it. Hold on, things fell over the door here. So on a scale of 1 to downright terrifying, it's like a 3. It's more irritating. Hold on, this backlit nonsense. It's more irritating than difficult. So I recommend doing the job because that just makes all your panels a lot easier. You don't have to do all this other wonky stuff. Everything's symmetrical now on your van. So highly suggest doing this job. Whitewater Vans has a video doing this, same thing, and Moonraker Designs, which probably came across theirs before mine. But yeah, Moonraker, he went all out. He was rewiring and soldering, and oh my god, we ain't getting into that. And Whitewater Vans did a bit of stuff and showing how to do it, but like the wires go where they go. It's mainly about taking your time and getting the clips out. So the awkward one was, if you have the same thing as me, is that clip up above this light, and then be careful removing your tail lights and the clip in there. And then other than that, drill an 1.25-inch hole in 4 spots, and maybe this job takes you, it took me way longer, but I think most people could probably do it faster. 2 to 3 hour job max, and that is not rushing by any means. So hopefully this video helps, and thanks for watching.